stuff.
Well, fortunately, because they were just picking whose power was going to get shut off every couple hours and then just turn it back on. Fortunately, we live between 108th and 120th Street, which is all on the same grid. So does the mayor. So there was zero chance we were losing any power. And I was
That's
like,
shitty, man. And like the fucking, of course, Jean Stothert's not gonna fucking
exactly
take her fucking
in her
couple hours of no
mansion.
power.
Honestly, her neighborhood probably sucks up more power than anyone else in the city. But Mia was like,
she's probably got an Alexa in every one of her bathrooms. That's constantly running.
Mia was like, do you think we're going to lose power? I'm like, no, we're on the same power block as the mayor. Like, if we lose power, I'm going to go buy a fucking lottery ticket. Like, we're not losing power. I guarantee it. Every other block in this city will lose power before we do.
That's so crazy, dude. Omaha seriously is like, if you want to find like modern examples of like local government corruption, like a fucking cowboy movie, dude, like literally just go look at Omaha over the last like 50 years, pretty much over the entire existence of Omaha.
I feel like every city has its sleeping dogs. Well, have we talked about it on the show before about Omaha's history?
No, we haven't. We should.
So we had this mayor. His name was Cowboy Jim Dahlman. He was a fugitive fleeing murder charges in Texas. He was elected to 10 consecutive terms as mayor.
Yeah, he basically ran the city like some kind of old
fucking
Western
mob
movie
boss.
where the governor is the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he ran it like a casino.
He would literally like pay people to go kill his political dissidents and stuff.
It was what was it? It was the political boss system. What was the boss's name? Let me see here. Shit, because you had Cowboy Jim Dahlman and then you had Tom Dennison. So there was actually here's the thing. In when Cowboy Jim Dahlman lost his race, this Tom Dennison guy invoked a race riot. Yeah, 1919. So at
this is like 150 years ago.
In the early 1900s, there were more. In 1919, when this happened, there were actually more black people in Omaha than any other city in the country, density or population density wise. So this guy, Jim Dahlman, lost his election, and this Tom Dennison guy goes out and stages incites a race riot because somebody got lynched and he just blew it up all over, took the riot to city hall. I mean, it was insane. It was fucking, I got the Wikipedia, which we know is the all-knowing source. It says by 5 p.m. a mob of 5,050 or between 5 and 15,000 people had crowded into the street on the south side of the Douglas County Courthouse. They began to assault police officers, pushing one through a glass window and attacking two others who wielded clubs at the mob. They deployed fire hoses.
What year was that? Did you say it was 1919?
1919. Crowd took guns, badges, and hats from cops.
That's hilarious. They took their hats. They were probably like wearing their hats in the fucking crowd and stuff.
So here's what it says. Let's see. This is the background. 3 weeks before the riot, federal investigators had noted that a clash was imminent, owing to the ill feeling between white and black workers in the stockyards. The number of African Americans doubled during the decade as they were recruited to work in the meatpacking industry.
Yeah, so something you should know about Omaha history is that the entire city, like in its early days, was entirely basically based around the rail system because Omaha was the center of the Transatlantic Railroad. So and then also all the cattle drives, basically all the cattle from like the ranches here, Oklahoma, Texas and stuff, went up to Omaha, and then all the beef got shipped over to the rest of the country.
Yep.
So
it says
little
fun fact there. Number of African Americans doubled. It doubled in Omaha during the decade as they were recruited to work in meatpacking plants. In 1910, Omaha had the third largest black population. Let's see, following Reconstruction.
I didn't know that about the black population, though, man. That's pretty cool.
More than doubled. As far as per capita, we were number one, though, because it more than doubled to over 10,000, second only to Los Angeles.
But we had the third in the entire country, just like raw number, though.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Post Reconstruction, yeah. The major meat packing plants hired blacks as strikebreakers in 1917. South Omaha's working class whites showed great hostility toward black strikebreakers. By this time, the ethnic Irish, the largest and earliest group of immigrants, had established their power base in the city. Several years later, following the death of an Irish policeman, ethnic Irish had led a mob in an attack on Greektown, driving the Greek community from Omaha. All 12 of them. There aren't a lot of Greeks here, though. There really aren't in Omaha. So the city's criminal establishment, led by Tom Dennison and teamed with the Omaha Businessmen's Association, created a formidable challenge for the moralistic administration of the first-term reform mayor Edward Parsons Smith, with little support from the city council or the labor union. Smith warily worked through his reform agenda. Following strikes throughout the previous year, 2 detectives in the OPD Moral Squad shot and killed an African-American bellhop on September 11th. Sensation, September 11th. I know.
That's crazy that this is like literally just a couple of hairs.
This is 100 years ago.
Than 100 years ago.
This is a person or two ago, like a person and a half ago. Sensationalized local media reports the alleged rape of 19-year-old Agnes Lobeck on September 25th, 1919, triggered the violence associated with Will Brown's lynching. The following day, police arrested 41-year-old Will Brown as a suspect. Lobeck identified Brown as her rapist. However, during questioning, Brown stated that Lobeck did not make positive identification, which Lobeck later refuted. There was an unsuccessful attempt to lynch Brown on the day of his arrest. The Omaha Bee, which published a series of sensational articles about many incidents of black crimes, publicized the incident as one of a series of attacks on white women by black men, a political machine opposed to the newly elected reform administration of Mayor Smith. It highlighted the alleged incidents of black criminality to embarrass the new administration. So, yeah, I mean, this Dennison guy pulled strings in the media to sensationalize this and just started huge tensions between, the Irish and the black people. And it just turned into a fucking riot. So this dude started a riot because it kind of like Trump. Like on a smaller scale,